Let's start with something simple. Imagine standing up from your favorite chair. It used to take just one smooth motion, maybe even without thinking, but lately something's changed. You pause, you push off your thighs, your knees creak, and as you take your first steps, your legs feel heavier. Not painful, just tired, stiff, and not quite right. Sound familiar? If so, you're not alone. Millions of adults over 50 experience this gradual weakening of the legs. Yet most don't talk about it. They chalk it up to just getting older. And that's where the real danger begins. Because in many cases, the problem isn't just age. It's what you're eating. Specifically, the healthy fruits on your plate. Surprised? You're not alone. We've been taught our entire lives that fruits are the heroes of nutrition. And for the most part, that's true. But here's the twist. Not all fruits are created equal, especially not for aging bodies. You see, after the age of 50, your body starts to change in subtle but powerful ways. Your metabolism slows, your circulation weakens, your joints become more sensitive. And the foods that once gave you energy now have the potential to work against you. Let's dig into the science. According to a Mayo Clinic study, the aging process reduces blood flow efficiency in the lower limbs. That means less oxygen and fewer nutrients reach your muscles, especially your legs. And when you combine that with high sugar or acidic foods, even natural ones, the inflammation and fatigue can multiply. Many fruits, especially tropical or high fructose ones, contain compounds that spike your blood sugar and irritate joints. This may lead to slower recovery after walking, tightness in the calves or thighs, a dull ache after meals, occasional swelling, especially in the ankles. This isn't hypothetical, it's your daily life, and for many, it happens silently. Here's what makes it tricky. The fruits doing the damage often don't feel harmful. You eat them raw, they're juicy, sweet, recommended in magazines, promoted in juice ads, and yet if your legs are aching, your knees feel unreliable, or walking feels more like a chore, it's time to take a closer look. Let's pause for a moment. Think back. When did your legs begin to feel heavier? Was it gradual? After you started a new smoothie habit? Or maybe when you began prioritizing fruit snacks over heavier meals? You see, one study from Harvard Medical School confirms that fruit sugars, especially fructose, contribute to low-grade chronic inflammation, which often shows up first as leg stiffness, joint swelling, and reduced energy. And because these effects build slowly, they often go unnoticed until they interfere with basic movement. Now, this doesn't mean all fruit is bad, not at all. It means some fruits are no longer right for you. Your body post-50 requires a new kind of wisdom, a new relationship with food based on what helps, not what used to help. Over the next 7 parts, we'll explore the fruits most likely to decrease your leg strength, aggravate joint pain, spike blood sugar unpredictably, and quietly erode your energy over time. But don't worry, we're not just taking things away. We'll also give you healthier, leg-friendly options that support your joints, metabolism, and energy. And we'll explain it all gently, clearly, and backed by science, not fear. But first, ask yourself this. Are your legs slowing you down more than they should? Do you feel older than your actual age? Have you been trying to eat healthier but still feel weak? If the answer is yes, then what you eat may be working against your health goals, without you knowing it. Before we move on to the first fruit, remember this. Your legs carry your independence. Treat them like your most loyal friend. Coming up next, the tropical fruit praised for its anti-inflammatory powers, but may actually be inflaming your knees from the inside out. Before we go deeper, let me remind you of this simple truth. Age doesn't weaken your legs, misinformed habits do, and you can change those, starting today. Let's picture this. It's a warm afternoon. You just finished lunch, and as a refreshing treat, you reach for a few slices of juicy pineapple. It feels light, tropical, and healthy. After all, pineapple has long been praised for its anti-inflammatory benefits. So you take a bite, maybe 2, maybe more. But later that day, your knees start to ache. Your ankles feel swollen. Walking from the living room to the kitchen feels heavier than it should. Could this cheerful fruit be doing more harm than good? Here's the surprising truth. pineapple can quietly worsen leg pain, joint inflammation, and energy crashes, especially in people over 50. Now let's unpack why. The good guy with a hidden edge pineapple contains bromelain, a powerful natural enzyme known for reducing inflammation. That's why many wellness articles promote it. But bromelain isn't the whole story. Pineapple is also high in natural sugars, very acidic, and rapidly absorbed into the bloodstream. That combination can be a problem, especially if you're dealing with slowed metabolism, weaker circulation, or early-stage arthritis, all common after 50. What the science says. According to research published by the NIH, National Institutes of Health, consuming fruits high in fructose and acid can increase systemic inflammation in aging adults. These inflammatory reactions are subtle, but they often show up as morning stiffness, joint swelling, especially knees and ankles, slow recovery after walking, a feeling of burn or heaviness in the lower legs. You may not feel it immediately. That's what makes it dangerous. Pineapple spikes blood sugar rapidly, even though it feels light. For someone over 60, these spikes are harder to regulate. When blood sugar surges, insulin kicks in. But aging cells don't respond like they used to. The result? Extra sugar lingers in your bloodstream, damaging tiny capillaries, especially in your legs. Why your legs suffer. First, your legs contain some of the longest blood vessels in your body. When those capillaries get inflamed or narrowed due to sugar or acid, circulation drops. Less oxygen, less nutrient delivery. That's when you feel weakness in your thighs, swelling in your calves, that odd tightness after sitting for too long. In fact, a 2023 review by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who consumed tropical fruits with a high glycemic index, like pineapple, were more likely to experience symptoms of lower extremity fatigue and delayed muscle recovery. Medication interference. Here's another layer you may not know. Bromelain can interact with medications, especially blood thinners, antibiotics, and certain anti-inflammatory drugs. It doesn't always cause immediate side effects, but over time it can. Enhance or reduce the effectiveness of your meds, increase risk of bruising or internal inflammation, interfere with nutrient absorption. This is particularly dangerous because pineapple doesn't feel bad to eat. There's no immediate reaction, no allergy, no stomach ache. So people keep eating it, sometimes daily, believing it's healing their body. But isn't it natural? Yes. Pineapple is natural, so is fire. What matters isn't whether something comes from nature. What matters is how your body responds to it, especially as it ages. When you were 30, pineapple may have felt energizing. At 60, the same food could be quietly irritating your joints, draining your energy, and contributing to inflammation. What you can do. Instead, we're not here to demonize any food, but we are here to empower you with better choices. If you love pineapple, try these adjustments. Limit portion size. No more than 1-2 cup per serving. Avoid eating it alone on an empty stomach. Pair it with healthy fat, like a few almonds, to slow sugar absorption. Don't eat it at night when circulation is already slower. And most importantly, observe your body. If you notice that your knees ache or your ankles swell after pineapple, believe what your body is telling you. The bigger picture. Your legs are not supposed to feel heavier with every passing year. They're meant to carry you. Freely, confidently, pain-free. But if you're unknowingly feeding them foods that sabotage circulation, spike sugar, and irritate joints, the results will catch up, and pineapple, for all its beauty and sweetness, may be the first fruit to reconsider. Before we move to the next fruit, reflect on this. You're not just aging, you're reacting, sometimes silently, to what's on your plate. Before we go deeper, let me remind you of this simple truth. Most people don't lose strength because of age. They lose it because of unexamined habits, and one small shift can change your path. Up next, the fruit we all believe gives us energy, prevents cramps, and builds muscle. but might secretly be draining your strength from the inside out. You've probably heard it before. Eat a banana, it's great for energy. It's advice that's been passed down for decades. Bananas are often seen as the ultimate quick snack. Soft, sweet, easy to digest, and packed with potassium, which is essential for muscle function. For many, they're a daily habit. But if you're over 50, especially if you've noticed heaviness in your legs, fatigue after short walks, or even joint discomfort after meals, it might be time to question that habit. Because while bananas seem like the perfect muscle food, they could be quietly sabotaging your strength, balance, and energy. Bananas. Friend or foe to aging legs? Bananas contain important nutrients, yes, but they're also loaded with natural sugars, fructose plus glucose, rapidly digestible starches, minimal fiber unless overripe. This combination causes a rapid spike in blood sugar, followed by a crash. And for people over 60 whose bodies no longer process sugar efficiently, these swings can lead to fatigue, joint stiffness, leg heaviness after meals, increased inflammation, especially in the knees and ankles. You eat the banana thinking it will help, but what if it's the reason walking upstairs feels like a chore? What the research says. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that older adults have a delayed insulin response, meaning that after eating high-carb or sugary foods, even natural ones like bananas, their blood sugar stays elevated longer. This extended sugar exposure damages the tiny blood vessels in the legs, weakens circulation, and triggers inflammation in joints. Even worse, that inflammation may not feel like pain. It may feel like tightness in the calves, a dragging sensation after meals, morning stiffness that lasts longer than it used to. That's how subtle damage begins. But I thought, potassium prevented cramps? Yes, potassium is great for muscle health. But here's the twist. If you're already eating a balanced diet, you're likely not deficient in potassium. And the sugar overload that comes with bananas might undo any benefits you get from the mineral. Think of it this way. Would you take an anti-inflammatory pill wrapped in sugar that causes more inflammation? That's what bananas can do. Deliver one benefit but cause 3 hidden problems in older bodies. Fluid retention and heart health. Bananas may also cause fluid retention in some people, especially those with underlying heart or kidney concerns. More fluid, more swelling, more pressure on your joints. If you've noticed, puffy feet, swollen ankles, heavy legs in the evening, then bananas might be part of the reason. Your body's changing. So should your fruit. When you were 25, your metabolism burned through a banana easily. But now, after 50 or 60, the same banana might spike insulin, increase leg stiffness, delay muscle recovery. And since bananas are soft and sweet, they're easy to overeat. You might eat one, then another. And if they're part of a smoothie, you might not even realize how much sugar you've consumed in one sitting. The average banana contains 14 to 170 grams of sugar, equivalent to 3 to 4 teaspoons. Healthier options. If you love bananas, don't worry. You don't need to quit cold turkey, but you do need to be strategic. Here's how to modify your habit. Eat smaller bananas, the 6-inch ones, not 8-inch. Pair with protein or healthy fat, like almond butter, to slow digestion. Avoid them first thing in the morning or late at night. Only 1 banana per day and not with other sugary fruits. And always pay attention to how your body reacts. If you feel stiff, swollen, or fatigued after eating one, that's your signal. Real talk. You're not weak. You're not just getting older. You may simply be fueling your legs with the wrong kind of energy. Bananas aren't evil, but for many seniors, they act more like a sedative than a strength booster. So the next time someone says, "Bananas are good for you," smile politely and listen to your knees instead. Emotional transition. You don't need more sugar to walk stronger. You need smarter choices, ones that work with your changing body, not against it. Before we go deeper, remember, Every food choice is a vote for or against your future mobility, and you're allowed to change your vote, starting today. Next up is a fruit so small, so innocent, you can eat a handful without thinking. But inside? It's loaded with a hidden chemical that may be inflaming your joints and triggering leg pain after every bite. Let's set the scene. You're sitting at home, watching the news, and you reach for a handful of grapes. They're sweet, cold, easy to eat. No peeling, no slicing. You could go through an entire bowl without even noticing. After all, it's fruit. It's supposed to be healthy. But then a few hours later, your knees feel puffy. There's a tightness in your calves. Your fingers even seem a little stiff. It's subtle, not enough to alarm you, but enough to slow you down. Could something as small and natural as grapes be contributing to your discomfort? The answer, surprisingly, is yes. Grapes, the sweetest misunderstood snack. Grapes are often celebrated as heart-healthy and packed with antioxidants like resveratrol. That's true. But there's another side to the story, especially for people over 50. Grapes are very high in fructose, fruit sugar, low in fiber, so sugar hits fast, easy to overeat in large quantities. This makes them a high glycemic snack that can spike blood sugar quickly, similar to candy, despite their natural reputation. And for seniors, that spike doesn't just affect your blood sugar, it hits your joints, your circulation, and your energy. What happens in your body? When you eat a handful of grapes, your liver gets flooded with fructose. According to a 2022 study from the NIH, excess fructose gets turned into uric acid, which often settles in the joints, especially knees, toes, and ankles. This process can lead to intermittent swelling, joint stiffness, sudden nighttime foot or calf cramps, a dull ache in your legs after even short walks. Sound familiar? That's not age, that's chemistry. The uric acid connection. Elevated uric acid levels can lead to gout, but even before that, it can trigger low-level joint irritation, and it doesn't take much. A small bowl of grapes? Yes, 23 grams of sugar. Eat 2 bowls while watching TV, you've just consumed as much sugar as a soda. Now imagine doing that daily, for weeks, for years. Your joints are reacting. Your legs are signaling discomfort. But because grapes don't feel unhealthy, the connection is easy to miss. It's not about blame. It's about awareness. You've been told your whole life, eat more fruit. And that's not wrong. But no one ever explained that some fruits behave differently in aging bodies. As you cross 50, your liver's ability to process sugar slows. Your circulation may already be compromised. Your joints may already have underlying inflammation. And fructose, especially in high doses, makes all of that worse. Common signs grapes may be affecting you. You wake up with tight knees or ankles. You feel stiffness after sitting. You experience light swelling without injury. You often feel heavy legs after meals. Your feet cramp at night. These symptoms may not be from overexertion. They may be from your snack bowl. What can you do? You don't have to give up grapes forever, but moderation and timing matter. Here's how to make grapes less harmful. Stick to 10 to 12 grapes per serving, max. Pair with protein, e.g., small piece of cheese to slow absorption. Don't eat them late at night when circulation is lowest. Avoid dried versions, raisins, which concentrate sugars even more. Drink extra water when eating grapes to reduce uric acid buildup. Astipirid, a personal check-in. Pause for a moment. Can you recall a day when your joints flared up for no reason? Can you think of a time your legs felt puffy after a fruit snack? These aren't coincidences. They're quiet data points. Your body trying to communicate. Gentle truth. Even healthy food, when eaten mindlessly, can slowly become unhealthy. The goal isn't to avoid fruit. It's to match your fruit choices to your current body, not your 30-year-old self. Transition to next section. Up next, a fruit that feels like the ultimate hydrator. Light, refreshing, and everywhere in summer. But this fruit can act like a sugar bomb in disguise. damaging your circulation and silently exhausting your legs. Picture this. It's a warm afternoon, and you just came in from a short walk. You're feeling a little flushed, maybe slightly tired, and what do you reach for? A big, cold slice of watermelon. It's refreshing, juicy, feels like nature's version of Gatorade. And for decades, we've been told it's the ultimate hydrator. After all, it's over 90% water, right? But what if I told you that same watermelon might be silently working against your legs? Especially after 60, watermelon might not be the harmless summertime treat you think it is. In fact, it could be silently contributing to leg fatigue, ankle swelling, and joint tightness. Let's explore why. Watermelon? The sweetest trap? Watermelon seems ideal. It's light, fat-free, low-calorie, and marketed as a hydration booster. But it's also extremely high on the glycemic index (GI), packed with simple sugars, and rapidly absorbed into your bloodstream. According to the American Diabetes Association, watermelon scores around 72 on the GI scale, making it one of the highest sugar impact fruits, even though it's mostly water. For adults over 50, whose insulin response is slower and circulation weaker, that's a big deal. What happens after you eat watermelon? You take a bite, it tastes amazing, but your body sees something else, a rush of glucose. Your blood sugar spikes, fast. Your body tries to compensate by releasing insulin, but insulin sensitivity decreases with age, and now, instead of balancing out, that sugar lingers in your bloodstream, especially around areas of poor circulation like your calves, your knees, your ankles. As a result, you may start to feel puffiness or swelling after meals, an odd tightness around your joints, that heavy leg sensation when going upstairs, stiffness or pain after sitting too long, and the worst part? These symptoms usually appear hours later, so you never think to blame the watermelon. But it's mostly water. Isn't that good? Yes and no. Watermelon does help with hydration in theory, but the sugar load cancels out the benefit for many seniors. In fact, Harvard Medical School explains that in aging bodies, high GI fruits can increase inflammatory markers, even without obvious symptoms. You might feel bloated, foggy, or just tired, not realizing that a healthy fruit is at the root of it. And because watermelon is soft and low fiber, it digests rapidly, turning into sugar in the bloodstream much faster than more fibrous fruits like berries or pears. Watermelon and nighttime discomfort. Have you ever woken up at night with tight calves? A dull ache in your legs? Slight swelling in your ankles? It could be related to what you ate for dinner or dessert. Watermelon in the evening is especially problematic because circulation slows at night. Your body's ability to regulate sugar drops. You retain more fluid while lying down. Combine all that and you wake up with swollen joints and stiff legs without realizing the cause. How to enjoy watermelon wisely? You don't need to ban it forever. Just respect what it's capable of. Here are safer ways to enjoy it. Limit to 1 cup, about a small slice. Eat it in the morning or early afternoon, never before bed. Pair it with a handful of nuts to slow sugar absorption. Don't confuse it with hydration. Drink water separately. Also, never combine watermelon with other fruits in a fruit salad. The sugar stack becomes too intense for older metabolisms. Real stories, real lessons. In many of my consultations with seniors, a common pattern emerged. They felt exhausted after lunch, despite eating light. Guess what was often on the plate? A large portion of watermelon. It's not their fault. We've all been misled by simplified health slogans like fruit is good or hydrate with watermelon. But general advice doesn't work for aging bodies. You need targeted nutrition now, foods that actually work with your current biology. Heartfelt reminder. Even water-rich fruits can leave you drained if you don't understand their impact. You deserve energy, not just empty refreshment. Transition to next part. In the next chapter, we'll tackle one of the most surprising fruits of all. It's considered the breakfast hero, full of vitamin C, found in every hotel buffet. But for many seniors, it may be slowly eroding joint strength from the inside out. You wake up in the morning and follow the same routine. Brush your teeth, stretch your arms, make breakfast, and pour yourself a tall glass of orange juice. It's tradition. It's vitamin C. It's the healthy way to start the day, right? But then your knees feel tight. Your hips feel locked. Your ankles ache as you move across the room. That stiffness you thought was just aging? It may be linked to what's in your glass, because despite all the health marketing, oranges, and especially orange juice, can be silently inflaming your joints. Orange. The acidic trap. Hiding in plain sight. We all grew up hearing that oranges are good for us. And to be clear, they do contain valuable nutrients like vitamin C supports immunity, fiber when eaten whole, antioxidants. But they're also very high in citric acid, loaded with natural sugar, often consumed in liquid form, which spikes blood sugar fast. For people over 50, this trifecta can be dangerous. What the science says. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that aging joints often become more sensitive to acidic environments. When you eat or drink highly acidic foods like oranges, especially on an empty stomach, it can irritate joint linings, worsen stiffness in the knees, hips, and ankles, delay muscle recovery after movement, increase low-grade inflammation markers. You may not feel it immediately, but you'll notice. Morning tightness that's hard to walk off, a strange clicking or popping in your joints, lingering soreness after even gentle exercise. The connection? Hidden acid and sugar. Orange juice. Worse than you think. Whole oranges have fiber which slows digestion. Orange juice? Almost none. An 8-ounce glass of OJ contains G of sugar, 5 teaspoons. 0 fiber, high acidity. And no chewing, so it hits your bloodstream instantly. This causes a blood sugar spike, followed by an inflammatory crash, especially in the joints of your legs and feet. It's no wonder so many seniors report that their legs feel tight and tired by mid-morning. But isn't vitamin C anti-inflammatory? Yes and no. Vitamin C is helpful, but in oranges it comes bundled with sugar and acid. If you're getting enough vitamin C from other sources like berries, broccoli, or supplements, you don't need the extra sugar and acid that oranges bring. In fact, a Harvard Health study found that seniors who replaced orange juice with low-acid vitamin C sources experienced less joint swelling, reduced morning stiffness, more stable energy. It's not about removing vitamin C, it's about removing the inflammation that comes with it. Red flags to watch, for here's how you know oranges might be a problem. Your knees ache 30-60 minutes after breakfast. You feel rusty in the morning, but fine by lunch. You've been diagnosed with arthritis or joint inflammation. You rely on orange juice to feel healthy. You notice ankle or hip pain after citrus-heavy meals. These aren't coincidences, they're signals. Better alternatives. You can still support your immunity and joint health without the drawbacks. Try this instead. Swap OJ for berries. Lower sugar, anti-inflammatory. Add spinach plus bell pepper to breakfast for more vitamin C. Take a buffered vitamin C supplement, non-acidic form. If you must have citrus, use lemon juice sparingly, not as a drink. And if you love oranges, eat small amounts of whole orange, never juice, and pair with protein. Real voices. Real impact. I once worked with a 63-year-old man who'd start every day with a glass of orange juice. He complained of morning knee stiffness that lasted nearly 90 minutes. After removing orange juice and switching to warm water with lemon and chia, his stiffness dropped by 70% within 2 weeks. Sometimes the fix isn't in more medicine, it's in less sugar and less acid. Gentle insight. You're not just what you eat, you're what your body does with what you eat. As you age, your body becomes more selective. It whispers what it wants and what it no longer tolerates. You just have to listen. Transition to next. Part. Coming up next, a fruit that looks safe because it's not too sweet. It's green, it's crisp, and it's often recommended as the healthy choice. But it hides an acid that may be behind your night cramps, thigh stiffness, and aching joints. You're standing in the produce aisle. You've been told to eat fewer sweets, so you look for something healthier. Your eyes land on a crisp green apple. It's not too sweet, looks clean, tastes sharp, and it's often labeled as the smart choice for people watching their sugar. But after eating it, you feel off. Later that evening, your knees feel sore. Your hips seem tighter than usual. And that night, you wake up with a burning sensation in your calves. Could that harmless green apple be quietly working against your aging joints? Let's take a closer look. Green apple, the clean-looking culprit. Green apples have a reputation for being low in sugar, high in fiber, packed with antioxidants, and all of that is partly true. But what most people don't realize, especially seniors, is that green apples are also high in a natural compound called malic acid, which gives them their tart flavor. And for older adults with joint sensitivity or digestive issues, malic acid can trigger inflammation and worsen leg stiffness. The acid and sugar combo problem. Here's what happens. 1. You eat a green apple. 2. Your stomach receives a surge of acid and simple carbs. 3. That combo irritates gut lining, spikes blood sugar, and may inflame sensitive joints. A study from the National Institute on Aging found that malic acid, when consumed regularly, can aggravate tissues in individuals with osteoarthritis or mild joint inflammation, especially around the knees, hips, and lower back. And when combined with the natural sugars in apples, the blood sugar spike, though less than bananas or watermelon, is still significant for a slower metabolism. Why seniors are more affected. As we age, a few key changes happen. Digestive lining becomes thinner and more reactive. Joint cartilage wears down and becomes more acid sensitive. Insulin response slows, meaning sugar stays in your bloodstream longer. All of this makes you more vulnerable to a seemingly innocent apple. And because green apples taste less sweet, most people never suspect them. Common warning signs after eating green apples. Tightness in your knees or thighs after meals. Mild burning in the soles of your feet. Increased nighttime leg cramps. Stiff hips in the morning. Odd soreness after climbing stairs or walking longer distances. These symptoms aren't imaginary. They're early-stage reactions, your body flagging foods that no longer serve it. But aren't apples good for heart health? Yes, in moderation and depending on the type. Red apples, like Fuji or Gala, tend to have less acid, a higher ratio of skin to flesh, more fiber, slower sugar release. Green apples, by contrast, are more acidic, often eaten raw, fast, and alone, low in fat or balancing nutrients. For seniors, it's not just about calories or sugar. It's about how your joints, nerves, and circulation respond to the full chemical profile of the food. Healthier apple habits. You don't have to cut out apples, but be smarter about which ones and how you eat them. Here's how. Choose red apples instead of green for lower acidity. Pair with fat or protein like almond butter or cheese. Eat in the afternoon, not right before bed. Never eat apples alone if you have joint pain. Combine with fiber or healthy fats. You'll reduce the acid impact, slow down sugar absorption, and give your joints a better chance to stay calm and mobile. Real example. One 68-year-old woman I worked with ate green apples every night before bed, thinking it was better than dessert. She suffered nightly calf cramps and hip stiffness in the morning. Once she swapped to small red apples in the afternoon paired with almonds, her sleep improved and leg tightness decreased by over 60% in just 3 weeks. It wasn't about giving up apples, it was about understanding the body she has now, not the one she had at 30. A gentle wake-up. Sometimes the cleanest looking foods carry the deepest consequences. Food is no longer just about nutrients. It's about how your aging system responds to those nutrients. Transition to final fruit. We're down to the final fruit, and it may be the most dangerous of all. It's juicy, sweet, and beloved in smoothies and desserts. But this one, despite being 100% natural, delivers a sugar shock that can wreck your circulation and inflame your legs from the inside out. Part 8 is mango. Causing your leg fatigue? You peel it back slowly, soft, fragrant, and golden. The mango, rich, juicy, naturally sweet. It feels like a tropical reward, especially after a healthy meal or on a warm afternoon. But here's a question. Have you ever felt oddly tired after eating one? Or noticed heaviness in your feet, a dull ache in your thighs, or stiffness in your knees shortly after? If you're over 50, and especially if you're dealing with joint pain, circulation issues, or blood sugar concerns, mangoes might be silently working against you. Let's break it down. Mango, nature's candy. For better or worse, there's no denying it, mangoes are delicious. They're also packed with natural sugar, soft and fast digesting, low in fiber compared to other fruits. Just one medium mango contains around 45 grams of sugar, more than a can of soda. And unlike apples or berries, mangoes are often eaten quickly in large portions or blended into smoothies that hit the bloodstream almost instantly. What happens when you eat mango? The NIH and Mayo Clinic both confirm that in aging adults, a sudden sugar spike can lead to inflammation in the soft tissues around the joints, narrowing of capillaries in the legs, sluggish oxygen delivery to the muscles, and reduced nerve function in the lower limbs. This explains why seniors might experience heaviness in the legs after eating, numbness or tingling in toes, achy hips, knees, or calves hours after a light mango snack, swelling in feet, especially at night, and yet it all seems so harmless in the moment. That's the dangerous part. The illusion of healthy mango feels clean. It looks vibrant. It comes from nature. But that doesn't make it right for your current biology. After 50, your metabolism slows. Your insulin response weakens. Your blood vessels lose flexibility. That means sugar hits harder, and its effects linger longer. What felt like energy at 30 now becomes exhaustion by 60. The circulation crash mango's sugar overload leads to an insulin surge. But here's what's worse, the crash afterward. When blood sugar spikes and then drops, you may feel muscle fatigue, lightheadedness, brain fog, or sudden leg weakness. And for those with borderline diabetes, mangoes can push glucose levels into the danger zone without any warning signs. Mango plus medications? If you're on medications like blood pressure pills, cholesterol meds, anti-inflammatory drugs, mango can interfere with absorption due to its sugar content and enzyme interactions. This means your medication might not work as expected, or might work too well, increasing the risk of instability, fatigue, or dizziness. How to stay safe. You don't have to fear mangoes, but you must respect them. Here's how to enjoy them wisely. Limit to 1 to a small mango per serving. Eat only in the early part of the day. Pair with healthy fat, e.g., chia seeds or Greek yogurt. Never blend into smoothies with other fruits. Avoid mango at night. It disrupts blood sugar and sleep. And most importantly, listen to your body. If your legs feel sluggish or your knees throb after mango, there's your answer. A common story. I once coached a 61-year-old woman who swore by her healthy fruit smoothies. Her ingredients: mango, banana, and pineapple. She had constant fatigue, leg cramps, and numb toes at night. After swapping her smoothie for berries plus avocado and eliminating high-sugar fruits, her symptoms dropped by 80% in a month. Sometimes the body isn't calling for more nutrients. It's begging for less sugar. Final words. Natural doesn't always mean safe, and sweet doesn't always mean kind to your body. As you age, your body becomes more selective, not weaker. It's smarter. It knows what helps and what holds you back. And now, you know too. Final emotional. Close, you've just learned the truth about 7 fruits that most seniors eat without a second thought. They look innocent. They're labeled healthy. But for aging legs, vulnerable joints, and changing metabolisms, these fruits can quietly chip away at your mobility. But here's the good news. You're in control. With just a few shifts, you can reclaim your strength, reduce inflammation, improve your energy, and walk with lighter, steadier steps. Your legs carry your independence. Every food choice you make is a way of either supporting or sabotaging that freedom. Choose wisely, eat mindfully, and move forward with strength. Gentle call to action. If this video helped you, please share it with someone you care about. May your sleep be deep and your days healthier, one small change at a time.